Hi, I'm Cindy Grisdela from Reston, Virginia, and I'm pleased to have my quilt Musings II in Quilt National 25. This is my second Quilt National. I had a piece in the 23 exhibition as well, and I'm just thrilled to be, to be part of this wonderful tradition. This quilt is part of a series that I've been working on. I have one a quilt in back of me that is also part of the series, exploring these sort of curved saucer-like shapes and exploring the interaction between the shapes themselves, which sort of dominate the design, and the background behind them. And so Musings 2 was, as the name implies, the second in a series a sub-series of this work. And I had made a smaller piece that was about 30 by 40 inches, and using sort of the saucer shapes in a stacked format, and then some additional curved shapes along with it. And I wanted to expand on that idea because I think that working in series is really important. It helps you you can't always get all of your ideas in one quilt. You probably shouldn't try. And so it's interesting to try to work on, an idea, and how can I expand on it? How can I blow it up? Can I change the shapes? Can I change the interaction between the shapes? Can I make it smaller? Can I take a piece of it and work on that? And so I was interested in working with this initial piece in this series, but I didn't want to just make it bigger because I wanted obviously a larger piece for Quilt National. And so my dear friend, the late Sarah Bond, and I were talking some time ago now about an application that she used to help her design her work. And you were able to take the photograph of the piece that you were interested in experimenting with and put it in this layout application. And you can sort of make tiles of the piece in different orientations and look at how they interact. So I did that with my original idea, and I came up with all kinds of interesting designs, many of which were much more complicated than I wanted to attempt. But the interesting thing about working like that was that it sort of gave me the idea of possibilities that I could explore. I could simplify them, on my own. I wasn't, sort of wedded to the designs that the application had helped me look at. So I started cutting and sewing. I'm a very, usually sort of a very organic, intuitive artist, and I tend to just cut my shapes and put them up on the design wall and see where they take me. And that's what I did with this piece. I had the general idea of what I thought I wanted to do, but once you get into the cutting and the sewing process and the design process on the design wall, it changes. And that happened with Musings II. And I ended up editing out some of the design, changing it to make it as interesting as I could. I was really sort of trying to play with the intensity or the saturation of the curved shapes, so that I could use those shapes that were of the highest intensity in color, to focus the eye, and then the others had sort of a lower intensity range. So that was a little bit of the challenge that I faced, of trying to take a design that I had made in a smaller format and blow it up, change it, make it into a completely new design. And when you're working on a piece on the design wall, and things are happening, and you're trying to make the vision in your head come out and be real. Things change, and that's one of the things I love about my process and the improvisational process, is that you can do that. You can as the artist, you get to decide. And so that was one of the challenges of working on this piece. But also, I'm happy with the way that it turned out, and the backgrounds of the behind the shapes are in very sort of dark, moody tones. I used a lot of piecing to create interesting sort of background shapes within the shapes, and that was also a lot of fun. So I hope you get a chance to enjoy the show. It's wonderful in person, but you can certainly look at the work in the catalog or online. Thank you so much.